Christian Leadership Partners, and for the last 23 days or so, we've been working on coaching sessions that hopefully have been made a difference in your life. Now, these coaching sessions are absolutely free, and they only take about 10 minutes out of your day. So if you take these tools and you apply them, I'm really hoping that they're making a difference not only in your life, but in the lives of your team members around you. Now, you're more than welcome to share this video with them, or you can share the entire process with them. All 30 of these days are absolutely free, and we really want to make sure that we get the word out so that people can start changing their lives in a positive way. And that's ultimately what our goal is. We're also taking the Word of God and using that in conjunction with each one of these coaching sessions. Today we'll be in Proverbs chapter 23, and I hope that as we go through this process, you'll absolutely be able to see that God has got a plan for your life, and we can actually start working on that process. Now, for the last 3 weeks or so, we've been working on our goals. We've been writing them down every single day. We've been assessing ourselves and where we're at, and hopefully the development of these goals. Hopefully you've even met some of the goals that you wrote down initially. Now, this is the first video that you've seen. I really do encourage you to go back to the first video, and you'll absolutely see a difference if you start at the very beginning rather than picking up here. Now, you're more than welcome to subscribe over here, and if you do that, then you'll be notified every time that we make a new video or a new post, and you won't miss any one of these coaching sessions. So it'll make a real difference in your life. Again, as I said, we're going to be in Proverbs chapter 23, and probably one of the most famous Bible verses in the Bible comes out of Proverbs 23. Proverbs 23:7 says, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." In fact, there's been several books that have been written about that. And we're going to address that today. And what we want to do today is we've been strategically planning our goals so that we can go out and start executing them. Well, we're in the planning and the preparation phase right now. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that our minds are set and ready to start accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish. This is the last step in our preparation process before we actually start implementing our goals. So what we want to do is we want to see what we're believing in and how that can actually make a difference in our lives. So let's take a look at Proverbs chapter 23 and see how this can actually make a difference in our lives. You know, Proverbs 23:7 is the verse that most of us think about, and it says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." And what does that really truly mean to you? Well, what it means is that if I've got a goal in my heart, and if I'm really believing that it's something that God wants me to do, then I know that I can accomplish these things. But what I need to do is I need to make sure that I'm confident of that I'm believing that, and that I'm absolutely working towards those goals. Now, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we get ourselves in alignment with that. So let's take a look at Proverbs 23 again and see some of the highlights of this entire chapter. So Proverbs 23 tells us several different things. It tells us that is it wealth that we really want? We want to make sure that we don't waste our time with fools. We want to make sure that we're not cheating the defenseless. We want to make sure that we understand the value of the pursuit of wisdom. We want to make sure that we do discipline our children. We want to definitely make sure of what we say. We want to make sure that we want to fear the Lord so that we won't be disappointed in life. We also want to make sure that we listen to our parents and the people that are appointed over us. And then finally, we want to make sure that we don't allow the distractions of sin to overwhelm us. So let's spend a little bit of time in Proverbs chapter 23. I'll read these to you. Remember, this is in the New Living Translation. So these verses are actually translated in context. So I'll go slowly, but I really do encourage you to write down in the goal worksheet those things that you find in Proverbs 23 that actually spoke to you today. So let's take a look at Proverbs chapter 23. While dining with a ruler, pay attention to what is put before you. If you're a big eater, put a knife to your throat. Don't desire all the delicacies, for he might be trying to trick you. Don't wear yourself out by getting rich. Be wise enough to know when to quit. In the blink of an eye, wealth disappears, for it will sprout wings and fly away like an eagle. Don't eat with people who are stingy. Don't desire their delicacies. They're always thinking about how much it costs. Eat and drink, they say, but they don't mean it. You will throw up what little you've eaten, and your compliments will be wasted. Don't waste your breath on fools, for they will despise the wisest advice. Don't cheat your neighbor by moving the ancient boundary markers. Don't take the land of defenseless orphans. For their Redeemer is strong. He himself will bring their charges against you. Commit yourself to instruction. Listen carefully to the words of the knowledge. Don't fail to discipline your children. They won't die if you spank them. Physical discipline may well save them from death. My child, if your heart is wise, my own heart will rejoice. Everything in me will celebrate when you speak what is right. Don't envy sinners, but always continue to fear the Lord. You will be rewarded for this. Your hope will not be disappointed. My child, listen and be wise. Keep your heart on the right course. Do not carouse with drunkards or feast with gluttons, for they are on their way to poverty, and too much sleep clothes them in rags. Listen to your father who gave you life, and don't despise your mother when she is old. Get the truth and never sell it. Always get wisdom, discipline, and good judgment. The father of godly children has cause for joy. What a pleasure to have children who are wise. So give your father and mother joy. May she who gave you birth be happy. My son, give me your heart. May your eyes take delight in following my ways. A prostitute is a dangerous trap. A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. She hides and waits like a robber, eager to make more men unfaithful. Who has anguish? Who has sorrow? Who is always fighting? Who is always complaining? Who has unnecessary bruises? Who has bloodshot eyes? It is the one who spends long hours in the tavern trying out new drinks. Don't gaze at the wine, seeing how red it is, how it sparkles in the cup, how smoothly it goes down, for in the end it bites like a poisonous snake. It stings like a viper. You will see hallucinations and you will say crazy things. You will stagger like a sailor tossed at sea, clinging to a swaying mast, and you will say, they hit me, but I didn't feel it. I didn't even know it when they beat me up. When will I wake up so I can look for another drink? So if we look closely, there is a value in Proverbs, and if we understand what Solomon is talking about here in this chapter, we can see that it really is what is about the vision that you have for your future. And in other words, what we really want to do is we want to address the things that actually pertain to our goals. And how do we see it? Do we have a vision of it? Do we imagine it? Can we actually see us performing these tasks? The moment that we can do that, then we're going to see that we can actually fulfill what it is that our goals actually are. And this isn't magic. This isn't about tricking my mind to do something that it's not capable of doing. What we want to do is we want to start seeing the goals and start working towards the end result. Proverbs 23:7 tells us, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. So if I'm thinking about something, then that's exactly what's going to come. So if you're telling yourself that you're not good enough to be able to do the things that you know that you can do, or if you're not good enough to make these goals, or if these goals are too lofty, if you start thinking that way, you're not going to achieve them. And that may be one of the reasons why you haven't achieved your goals yet. So what we want to do is we want to start working on that. Now, I'm going to take you to 3 different verses throughout the Bible, but I think that they'll each make a difference in your life. The first one is we have to ask ourselves, what are we thinking? And that again is Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7. If I know what I'm thinking, and if I'm thinking the positive thoughts, and if I'm thinking about my positive goals that I want to achieve, then I know that I can be successful. The second verse that I'd like you to look at is 3 John 1:2. Apostle John was writing to Gaius, and he was telling him, hey, look, I want you to be as prosperous as your soul is prosperous. Gaius was volunteering. He was giving money to traveling teachers. He was also providing for them. And his soul was absolutely prosperous. So if you've got a mind to do the right thing, and if you're always focused on those things, your soul is going to prosper in the same way. And finally, we've read this before, but it's Proverbs 3:23, and it says that we should guard our heart, for out of it will flow the issues of our life. So out of our heart is going to be exactly what it is that we want to accomplish. If I have it here, then it's absolutely going to come to pass if that's what I'm focused on constantly. And I'll tell you that even in the negative, we can see this in our lives. If I focus on the negative, if I've constantly got something that I'm complaining about, then that's the first thing that usually comes to pass. And you could probably tell me, yeah, Steve, you're absolutely right. So why not focus on the good things? Take these tools and make a difference in the lives of those around you, also make a difference in your life. And then you'll be a miracle going someplace to happen.